Groove City.
Yo, what's up? I'm Lefty.
And I'm Rich Furniss, and welcome to another episode of Groove City.
That's right. We are very excited to bring somebody we've both probably personally known for a long time now here in New York. Please welcome New York nightlife staple and dear friend of ours, AKKI.
What's up?
Hey. Welcome to
Thanks
Groove
for having
City.
me. Yeah.
I just lost my watch for the duration of the thing. Thank you so much for joining us. How have you been? It's been a minute since we've seen you.
Yeah, no, I've been good. It's been a busy year. It was a busy summer.
Yeah, nice. Glad to hear. Busy's good.
Busy's good. Now I was taking like a little bit of breather and then got back into it.
Nice.
Yeah. We're catching up. I saw you last at Elsewhere.
Yes.
How was that?
That was super fun.
Yeah, it was a great party.
Yeah, I always love playing Elsewhere. And there's just like, it's always just a different experience regardless of what room you play.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Zone 1 is such a cool intimate club space.
Yeah.
I played one of my favorites as that when I was opening for Dylan Nathaniel, and then
Oh, nice.
yeah, and then the night that you saw me was I think Vanessa was headlining. Yeah. And that was in the main room.
Yeah, that was a great
and
night.
then I've played the rooftop a couple of times.
Yeah.
Especially
Always
this
fun
summer.
up there.
Yeah, it's just such a cool place. And
It
like
really
a different
is.
experience.
Yeah, they
Gives
nailed
me
it
like
with the-
old school New York vibes. Like you said, almost
Yeah.
it's like a fun house. Every room you go into can almost be a different experience. And
Yeah.
playing every room is super different.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and there's a loft, right? Can't
Yeah.
forget about that. And they're so good just letting anyone throw a party there, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Shout out Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Elsewhere,
Thanks for
love.
the great nights.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
But you've done so many amazing things. But let's dial it back a little bit to some of the earlier years and what got you into music. You were
Yeah.
telling me earlier you kind of took some lessons in DJing when you first got started
I
here in New York at Scratch
did.
Academy.
Yeah, that was
I used
that
to
was
work
so
there.
cool. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was so coincidental. I don't know if you ever knew Pat Noms.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That was my instructor.
Oh, okay. Word.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gone to Scratch Academy that I've met here in New York. It's a
Yeah.
very popular spot.
Yeah, and it's so central.
Yeah.
It's like right in around Union Square area.
Cooper
and
Square.
yeah,
Cooper
nice.
Square. Yes, exactly. It just so happened, God, this was so long ago. This must have been like 2014 or 2015. It just so happened that the co-founder, whose name I do not remember, so do not ask me, he was a good friend of my friend's, and she was like, hey, like my friend co-owns this DJ studio, and I know you've been interested, like why don't you take lessons there or something? You could probably get some kind of discount. So I did.
Nice.
And yeah, and then just kind of dived in from there. I think I took about 2 courses. But I think like the thing about DJing is like you can't just learn it in a classroom.
No,
like
no.
you
There's
really
no
have
school
to get
like
in
the
there.
real thing.
Yeah,
right?
you know, it's like it's just theoretical if you're in the classroom. You got to like throw yourself out there and like go
100%.
live, make mistakes.
I think it's like any type of like thing that you learn in a classroom, right? Is like you
Yeah.
can learn the fundamentals and you can learn a lot of the technique, but at a certain point, like the best experience is to have experience. You just have to like dive in and jump into
Oh yeah.
it.
Exactly.
So much of it comes from that. So what
Yeah.
what got you into getting the itch to want to DJ?
Yeah. So I think it was just very simply, I was like hosting parties at home, and for me, music was always just like the biggest defining thing of a party,
Yeah.
right?
Where
and
was that at?
that was okay. So actually, let me dial it back even
Yeah,
more.
let's take
So-
it there. Take us back.
Let's go
A
right
journey
back.
through time.
Yeah. So I grew up in Australia,
Okay.
and then I moved to Singapore in my teenage years because my dad's job moved us there. There was just like, you know, a big wave of expats when I was around a
Nice.
teenager. And I definitely owe a lot of my early interest in music to Singapore because there was actually a big nightlife club scene there when I was
Okay.
growing up.
Still
What kind
is,
of
I
vibe
feel
was
like.
Oh
it?
yeah, it still is. There was a lot of house music. There was a Ministry of Sound there.
Okay.
So a lot of like
Nice.
European DJs were passing through. Like I saw Tiesto when I was about 15 or something.
Oh.
Yeah, and like it was really easy to get into the clubs. And you know, we just had a great nightlife there, and like we would go clubbing all the time and just experience different kinds of music. I had like friends of friends that were DJing. I don't know if you guys ever knew the record label Head Candy, but they had
Yeah, of course.
yeah, so Head Candy was there too. Like I had a whole club called Head Candy.
Nice.
And
In Singapore?
yeah, in Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. And the thing about the Ministry of Sound that I really liked, which I think is different to all the Ministry of Sounds around the world that still exist, is that they just had different rooms for different genres of music.
I love that.
So they had like a house music room, and then they had this like retro disco room where they played, Madonna and like all the throwbacks.
Nice.
And then they had like a hip hop room, and they had the more of like a chill kind of jazz room. So in one night, usually you could just experience all these different kinds of music.
That's how it was in Miami when I first started going out.
Oh yeah.
You could go into different rooms. There's like the main pop room, there's like commercial music, and there's like the house.
I mean,
room.
even old New York was like that, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like when you think
Yeah.
about like old Webster Hall nights, like not even that far back, you'd have your hip hop room, your kind of like big EDM room,
Yep.
you have kind of your more
Yes.
loungy room. And I loved having, like we were talking with elsewhere, having that experience where you can hop into different rooms and get different energy.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like no matter where we went at first, I would always end up in like the 70s room. Like I would always end up in the retro room. I just loved the old like disco fever tracks. Like I loved Earth, Wind and Fire. Like that was just my jam.
Nice.
That was just what we would go out for. And like Wednesday night was always like ladies' night. So like island-wide, women got in free everywhere.
Dope.
So before I divulge too much about my childhood, I'll move on to, so I moved to New York for college.
Wait, before you get there, I wanted to
yeah.
ask, what was your favorite Singapore street food item? Because they have some good late night. They club their
Shefty
lot
over
really
here.
hard. Yeah.
Oh yes, you know,
I'll tell you, I got to go over there in my musician touring days, and I had a dish in Singapore late night called carrot cake.
I was just gonna say carrot cake's my favorite.
Yo, it's
That
so
is
good.
hilarious.
What is it? What
It's
is that?
not carrot cake.
It's not
What
carrot.
is it?
Educate us
It's
real
like
quick.
carrot-based flour is something
Is that what it
with
is?
egg
I think
and
it's like just like rice
soy.
starch.
I think there's something to do with carrot in there.
From
It's
what I
like
remember,
carrot rice or something.
It was very tasty. I
Okay.
was just like,
Yes.
don't forget this memory when it happened. And it was like, it's kind of like pad see ew, but they're like bricks of the white. Instead of noodles, they're like thick, dense bricks like this big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Ugh, I was
Yeah,
like, yo,
so
this is
good.
crazy.
Adding it to the bucket
Chicken
list.
rice, another popular dish there.
Yeah.
Very good. Super bland, but it's all about the sauces. you know?
Bam.
That was definitely one thing. Like the first thing I missed when I moved to New York for college was the late night food in Singapore after you go for a night out.
Yeah.
Because here I went to Columbia, right? So we just went to Tom's Diner and like that was that.
Yeah.
But
You're not getting different carrot cake
Diner
there.
food.
These places in
Slightly
Singapore
different.
pack out. Like,
Yeah.
I believe it.
It's like
yeah.
a dining hall, like at peak hour.
Oh, yeah.
Man, about that.
late in the morning.
And it was always hot. It was
Ugh.
always hot. So you
They say they got
always
2
be
seasons
out.
there, hot and hotter.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm
Woo.
about that.
It's
Monsoon
humid
sometimes,
there.
but yeah, so hot, so humid, and we'd, like you just said, we'd all just like, if you lost all your friends, like guaranteed you're gonna find each other at the hawker stall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have like carrot cake.
The meetup.
I also loved roti prata.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if you ever had roti prata. It was so good.
Nice.
Yeah, good times in Singapore. And
Yeah.
then,
It's a cool city.
yeah, no, it was
Country.
really cool. Yes, exactly.
Both.
City, country, tiny dot on the map, but powerful.
Okay, so you made it back to New York.
I did, yeah. Moved to New York for the first time for college. Had never lived in America. That was my first time ever coming
Quite the
here,
move.
living
That's quite the
here.
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though because it's like Sydney, Singapore, and New York, right? And they're all just metropolitan, pretty diverse cities. So I
Yeah.
felt like definitely a bit of a culture shock, but you know, like once you get used to it, it's just another city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I graduated here from college and fell in love with the city. When I was at Columbia, I was on a Latin dance team.
Oh, cool.
So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so actually I should have mentioned through high school I was a dancer. Like I was, you know,
Like
So that was
competitive.
the origin of
not
music too.
competitive. Yeah, kind of. So I would put on dance shows. It was kind of like explorative dance shows, and I
Oh.
would like cut different kinds of music for that. It would be everything from dancing to like doing modern dance to rock music to like Middle Eastern music to like Indian dance, like just
I
kind of
love
really
that.
trying to
That's
yeah,
awesome.
forge everything together. So I ended up on a dance team in college, which was kind of that mindset as well. Like it was technically a Latin dance team, but it was like a fusion of all these different genres and styles. And even though I was like dabbling around in production in high school, I kind of tabled that for a little while. And then when I was on the Latin dance team, I was like, I really miss just like making music and like, you know, playing music for people. So I left the dance team and I went a bit more of like the mixtape route. and,
Yeah.
and
I was gonna
started
say
kind
you
of
could have come out with them and like, yo, I'm gonna make the most nasty merengue out in the world right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I quit the team and I was like, how about I just do sound for you guys? And I would like cut all the mixtapes and like
Nice.
do like lighting and sound and kind of be a bit more like the background person. And then, I eventually just started hosting parties, and I would be always the one in the corner with the playlist and like trying to make sure everyone was having a good time. And
Where were these happening at?
oh, this is just like my apartment in
Oh,
the
okay,
Upper West
cool.
Side.
Yeah, nice.
I would like host all the pre-games, and I would just I would always have friends from different walks of life, like friends from different countries, or like college, or people that had moved here from high school. And I always noticed that even when people are from, different walks of life don't know each other, music is just really that diffuser.
It's the connector.
It's
Yeah.
really that thing that can make the difference between a friend and a stranger.
Facts.
And I would just love that. And I would just make like manual YouTube playlists and try to play around with different programs to seamlessly transition, but it would never work out.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, I should just learn how to DJ.
Facts.
Like actually DJ. And then, I got into Scratch DJ Academy. And my first gig after that was at Tonic Sports Bar
Okay.
in Murray Hill.
Oh, I know that
Murray Hill,
place.
yes, Murray Hill.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Monday night, and I was like 7 p.m. to midnight. I had to play top 40s only. Like anytime I would stray away from top 40s, I would get a text from the manager being like, more top 40s,
Hey.
please. Yeah, literally.
Stick with the
Literally.
program.
5 hours, and they didn't mind me even like repeating songs. Like I had like a 20 playlist, like a 20-track playlist, and I would have to repeat the same tracks over and over again. And not only that, I would have to play like during the adverts when there were games going on.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I had some
wow.
gigs like that
Yeah,
for sure.
Is it like a
I was
sports
like,
bar? Like they
"Oh."
had like they're like Monday Night Football with like
Exactly.
DJ
Yeah.
hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Mute the TV
Yeah.
during the Bud Light commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I was such a newbie,
love
so I was
that.
like, what are all these controls? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I got fired because I wasn't playing enough top 40s, so go figure.
What
Whatever.
did you at that point? What did you want to play?
So I was playing things like Giga Mesh remixes.
Okay.
Like, I was
Nice.
playing a lot of
Legend.
like new disco coming out. Like I think like Pandora was kind of starting off around then, and that introduced me to a lot of music
dope,
when
yeah.
it was good. And then after I got fired from Tonic, a friend of mine from college happened to be DJing at some hotel. I think it was like the W Hotel.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, why don't you just come back to back with me on Saturday nights for a month or whatever. And it was so nice of him to do that because that's how I actually started building a following. That's how like I started getting friends out.
Yeah.
and-
Who was it? Was it Luca? No.
No, it was my friend from Columbia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from Columbia University. My friend Salim, he's still a great DJ doing his thing in the city. And as I noticed, I was like, wow, my friends are actually coming back.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm actually
got
good at
something
this.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, I think they're having a good time because
Nice.
my friends definitely like, took the piss out of me at first. They're like, oh, you're gonna DJ? Like, oh, okay. And then they're like, wait, she's actually kind of good.
Yeah, love.
Like, what? And yeah, then I started just meeting people online, to be honest. I was like, tweeting promoters and like making internet friends through people who were commenting on like YouTube sets and things like that.
Nice.
Was just messaging people on Facebook. I would just show up at parties by myself, and be like, hey, can I play? Just be that annoying person. Like, can we stay in touch?
It's the only way to make it happen, though. Is You
Yeah.
kind of have to do that.
You gotta go
It's
out
almost
there.
like diving in just to DJ. To get booked for the gigs, you just have to go out and kind of make yourself available for it.
Exactly, and just kind of always be ready to play. That's a lesson I learned
For
very
sure.
early on. Like, always be ready. You never know whose apartment you're going to end up at,
Yeah.
and like who's
USB
going to be
sticks are in the pocket
there.
right now.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
It's okay. Ricky also has every adapter you could imagine. in
Oh,
his
for
pocket,
sure,
so
yeah.
you
Just
know.
in case. just
Walking
in case.
Radio Shack.
Yeah. Rick, I need a 125 cc capacitor for a deluxe 412.
It's
What
in
do you
my
got for
shoe.
that?
I got you.
It's like I got it. You got like endless pockets there,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
I just made all this stuff up. It doesn't mean anything for real.
Well, I believed it.
It sounded good though. I saw it with confidence. We were talking about confidence in our last interview. Anyway, so yeah. Do you want to continue on then? I cut you off there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I forgot the original question, but I'll keep going.
Got you into
so-
what got you into DJing? I guess what got you the itch to want to pursue it and like. dive in?
Yeah. So I started doing that, and then I think it was honestly, like I said before, just the joy of bringing people together through music and
Yeah.
just like playing heaters. And when I was starting out, like 2014 era, there was just like so much good music coming out. That was when like MK was putting a lot of great stuff out, and like
Yeah.
Shadow Child and Disclosure, and there was just a lot of great nights that were happening in general, and the scene was still very underground.
Mhm.
And it was very like, if you know type deal. And I would just go out on a Monday night to the DL and like Flight Facilities would be playing on the roof.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite stories. One time I went out on a Monday night, that same night when Flight Facilities was playing on the roof, and I went to the second floor, and there was a guy playing in the corner, and he was killing it. And I was like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, my name is Flume," and he was playing. He was playing to an empty room. There was literally no one there, and like a year later, he sold out Webster Hall.
That shows you, like, you never know.
You never
Yeah.
know. And the reason why I brought all that up is because it was just like, back then the scene was just creeping up, and there was just so many cool events you could go to for free.
The DL was the first place I ever got a residency at in New York City, actually.
Oh, really?
I thought you were going to say arrested at when you said that.
Well, I have a different story about that.
Well, last time when I played the DL, which I think was earlier this year, a fight did break out, and I was like,
really?
"Oh, that sounds about
Classic.
right."
Yeah. Oh, good. New York is back.
Yeah, exactly. A fight broke out in the cloakroom, and I was like, this is what happens when I play Manhattan, obviously.
Yeah. Nice. Sorry, I cut you off there on your first residency story. Rick.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Would you like
Oh
to
no,
tell
it's
the
just
story?
it was just the first place.
DL. I don't think I've been at DL. It's not the same as the Delancey, is it?
No.
That's across the street.
Oh no,
That's different.
I played the Delancey. That was my first. Actually, the DL is different.
Okay.
And my first one was I did it. I'm blanking on his name, but he was part owner in the Delancey and the DL. They also what was the first place that Lady Gaga ever performed that everybody Jonas partnered with them. They also own, they bought that as well.
My buddy Omri was involved.
Yeah. But he believed in me. I sent him a mixtape, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do a Tuesday night?" I was back when they were doing the open bars in New York before they outlawed it, where we would do the 30-minute open bar in the beginning of the night, and then 30-minute open bar at like 2 a.m. We actually live streamed. So I brought a whole live streaming rig, and this was back in like 2010, when I would live stream all of our DJ sets on Tuesday nights with CC cameras, with security cameras.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You just reminded me, there was just like so many things that would just push people to come out, like the open bars.
For sure.
NYCmyopenbar.com.
Oh, what's my favorite website? No, it's illegal.
My neighbor started
illegal. Oh, okay.
Myopenbar.com.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. I used to go to Crash Mansion all the time.
Yeah, Mansion. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that was one of the spots. That all started because my neighbors and we all used to party a bunch together. And we would be like, wait a minute, there's open bars happening everywhere multiple times a night.
Yeah.
So we started like a text circle that was just like, yo, everybody come here from 11 to 12. Here from 12 to 1.
Oh, yeah, everybody would just bounce between bar to bar.
Oh, yeah, it was like a chain. That's what we would do Thursday nights. We would start at Mercury Bar in Murray Hill. It was like a 7 to 8 open bar. And then I think Tonic had like an 8 to 9.
Yep.
And then we'd have dinner. And then we'd go to like some meatpacking club that had like an 11 to 12 open bar.
Yeah.
And then like Key Bar had like a 1 to 2. How are we alive?
I don't know. I used to tear up that
sober now.
Vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
used to tear up that Lit Lounge.
Oh my God, Lit Lounge.
That's where I met Terry. We were doing that.
Oh yeah, nice.
Or no, Dark Room.
Oh, Dark Room. Yeah, forget it.
I
Used to love
remember
that spot.
Dark Room as well. But anyway, guess back to the original question. Well, I think I kind of answered it, right? Yeah, it's just about bringing people together. And then I think like as I got more into the scene, I started getting a lot more passionate about just promoting more women in the scene and LGBTQ communities and artists of color. So I started throwing some parties that really focused on women, especially women, non-binary artists. I used to throw parties at Cameo.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, hell yeah.
Cameo.
I worked
That
at
was a
American
cool
Apparel across the
spot.
street in 2006.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Maybe you were at the
It's
events.
not awesome. It's not awesome.
Very colorful clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had that back room.
Mhm.
We used to throw parties there a lot. This is such a cheesy name now when I think about it, but I used to call them like the women of Deep House parties.
Oh, nice.
We had
Jiffy
Lauren
Shaw.
Flax. Yes, Jiffy
That's right.
Shaw. We used to, like we had Lauren Flax headline one of them.
Oh, sweet.
We had another artist called Stacey Todd. Like we did a few of them and they were great because we were able to just really shed some light on women. And then I was also writing for a blog called Lipstick Disco.
Okay.
That was
I remember
another
that.
blog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was another
nice.
blog that was focused. It was all female writers, but we could promote music from any artist. And that was really great because that basically got me a media pass to get into like all these different parties
Bam.
and like see good
Oh, I did that
artists.
too, for sure. Yeah.
The media pass.
Brooklyn Electronic Music Festival.
I was
Yeah.
just about to say
Yeah.
BMF. That was one of my favorite weekends. I saw
I was
Kate
just talking about
Tronada.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played in 2016,
Oh, cool.
which is when I just started doing my project with Armand Van Helden
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Solid Disco at
Solid
Verboten.
Oh, nice.
all old names in that
Yeah.
sentence.
It's funny. I think I think you were at a show that I was playing with Solid Disco potentially,
Yeah.
and then we met there.
think
Or
that's
like
when we
Adam
met.
introduced us.
Yeah.
Adam
that
from
sounds
Astor.
about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Solid
That's
Disco and
right.
Gigamesh, I think, were playing that show at Good Room.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember.
Oh,
shout out Good
snap.
Room.
Yeah.
And then that
That's
just
right.
got
Good
me.
memory.
Yeah, and like I remember, BMF was great. There was one weekend where I think we were just bouncing around. I saw Anna Luno at Verboten. I saw like The Magician at Villain. Then I saw like Kate Tronada at Glasslands that Sunday.
Yeah. That
Like
was a
there was
dope
just
little
so many
festival.
cool artists. Yeah. And I think there was just so much energy. Not like there isn't now, but like there was just so much awesome music that was coming out, and that got me into DJing. And then I think just as I made more and more connections, I started playing with more and more artists and networking my way up.
Yeah, you've definitely played some massive shows. at
Absolutely.
some huge clubs in New York City.
Thank
Any
you.
talking points you want to bring up or special memories that you played or
Favorite shows?
just some things
Favorite
that you
shows.
want to talk about from those experiences?
Yeah, so
Didn't I see you at Brooklyn Steel?
with Chris Lake?
No.
That's dope. That's super dope.
Way better than
No.
where I was going. That wasn't it,
Yeah.
but that's amazing.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was great. That was definitely one of my favorite shows to play. It's something that I've realized very lately is that how much I just love intimate club sets.
Me too.
You know, right?
There's
like,
something special about that where you can
there
really feel the
is.
energy of the crowd and
It-
like you guys are feeding
yeah.
off each other.
Exactly, and like everyone's just really close by. Don't get me wrong, like big stages are great. I just played, this summer I played Electric Zoo and Art Festival in Chicago over Labor Day
Oh, wow.
weekend.
Amazing.
That's
So that was
epic.
super fun. Yeah.
Those are
Great
both incredible
experience.
festivals. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And it's such a it's so different though when you go from that to like an intimate club set next.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
yeah.
everyone's just like right here, like all up in your face in a
very
good
different.
way. And you're
Right.
basically
Sure.
dancing with everyone. And I think one of my favorite intimate club sets I ever played was I mentioned this before, but Zone 1 at Elsewhere. Like
Yeah.
playing that room is just
Yeah.
is so much fun and the sound is so great and it's like just big enough to have a good amount of people, but just small enough that everyone feels like your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cozy in there.
It's cozy in
But it's
there,
not like
yeah.
uncomfortable.
No, it's
really
not.
Nice.
It's good until you go into the crowd, but
Facts.
until you're trying to go anywhere.
That's true.
You're
Swim through
swimming.
it.
Yeah, but that's part of it.
How do you feel like your music has changed through all of these different evolutions? I feel like,
Yeah.
You've definitely changed as far as like what you're playing now.
Absolutely. I think when I started out, I was very like bangers, 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 and it was all about like what's hot, like
Yeah.
playing the tracks that everyone knows. And now I think as things progressed, I definitely got a bit more into tapping into my diverse background
Yeah.
and like culturally, like what's the kind of story that I really want to tell with my sets, and it's more of a story versus like a party, you know?
Yeah.
And I've just gotten a lot more into like rave sounds recently.
Mhm.
I definitely got a lot more into more of like the tribal sounds. I think for a while I was definitely into like tech house for a while, and now I'm kind of exploring a bit more of like again like the rave sounds, the tribal house, a bit more of like the indie dance style. And I'm really trying to see where my productions fit in. Like I
Yeah.
think that's another thing I'm just really working on right now is like how can I make my productions an intersection of all those different elements I just mentioned.
Yeah, for sure.
And something that could really work well into my sets.
It's a fun
So-
discovery to kind of figure out how to connect all those pieces.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's an
'cause a lot.
ever-evolving thing too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to try to figure out how to make all these pieces of you fit into not just your sets, but your own music and how you curate that.
Exactly. And I think that's what the challenge has been sometimes is just, what's that balance between playing a very consistent set and something that is really like mixing up and adding some diversity to it.
Yeah.
Because if I just play like back-to-back house, I just get bored of it.
Yeah.
Like
Gotta
I
mix
need
it
to
up,
throw
yeah.
in some like break beat. I need to throw in something unexpected and
Keep
see
'em on
how
their
the crowd
toes.
responds. Yeah, exactly. And if not everyone feels it, then whatever, right?
Yeah.
But,
And it's only 3 minutes. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Good
You'll
thing
get
I
that
can
one
stop the
person
track.
looking from the
Yeah, that's it. Oh, they're playing the song. I'm out of here.
Get
Forget
that
it.
one person standing in front, like, what is this? But I'm sorry?
No, I was just making a joke about the person watching the time.
Because your watch dropped, right? So you know.
It's gone now.
It's hard. Like I've also been very into piano lately, and I've just not been able to, really drop that into a house set. Like I haven't figured out how to stitch that in. Yeah, how to make that work. So yeah, it's like I really want to try to make sure I'm just like telling that story about who I am through every set, and not not just.
I feel like that's a common connector with you is through this story, and like looking at your progression of like going out to clubs, kind of curating, kind of helping host stuff.
Yeah.
How did you feel like you producing was part of that natural progression of just like how it evolved?
Yeah, for sure. I was looking back at this like bootleg that I posted on SoundCloud in like 2015 or something.
Yeah.
And I like the caption I wrote for that was, I made this because it didn't exist. And that was kind of like the energy that
For sure.
got me into production, right? I was like seeing tracks and being like, oh, this would be so cool if it was just like this, or if I could layer this like drum on it, or if this break was like a little different, and then it kind of edits went to production, and that's how I got into it. I would say like when I was very young, I was definitely doing the classic messing around on GarageBand with like different sounds
and loops and all
making
that.
making dumb like pop rock music.
Which star are you working in now?
Oh, I'm in Ableton.
Ableton.
Yes.
Just
Not GarageBand anymore.
Just like no, I figured it wasn't, but I'm the Logic guy. He's the Ableton.
You're
I'm
a
the Ableton
Logic
so we always battle back
guy.
and forth. So
Just like to know.
okay.
You know?
He's 0 for 2 today with Dawes.
Okay, so I guess we'll collab, but not you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, but it's, and Ableton took me a minute to figure out for sure. And I think one of my biggest frustrations was, why is it the sound in my head is not being created on the door? Like, why can't I just like figure this out,
It's a whole nother language.
It's a whole other language. And I find that most artists I meet, like either you're coming from a very kind of creative background, or you're coming from a very like technological, like more engineering background, and putting the two together is always super difficult.
Which background would you say you are?
Definitely more creative.
Okay, cool.
Definitely more creative. Like trying to figure out sound design and everything was a little tough for me.
I feel like
first,
that's where Lefty gets the point. Lefty's definitely way more creative. I'm way more tech.
I don't know if you're more tech.
I'm definitely. Don't make me get those FTPs and proxies out on you, bro.
Touche. You're right. Yeah, Ricky's definitely more tech. For the record.
Good. Yeah. Good to bring it together.
This is why there's balance right here.
Yeah, I get you. Yes, you're right.
This is a long-running joke. Sorry.
You're going to be talking about this later, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was more tech. You think you're the creative?
Just playing around.
Is he though?
Yes, I am. I read enough of this. Back to Chris Lake. Tell us about that. That was amazing. You know what I was thinking of? I ran into you at a show at Brooklyn Steel, but I don't remember if you had played or not. It was with an Australian band. Who was it?
Oh,
See?
Not Sneaky Sound System?
No.
No. Oh, was it? These people aren't Australian, but who sang Destroy Everything You Touch? Oh, 17. Ladytron.
No.
Is it Ladytron? Okay, because
not
I was there for
Ladytron.
Ladytron.
Another good one.
I gotta remember what it is.
Yeah, me too.
They were like Bloghouse era, had like some huge remixes of their music.
Sneaky Sound System?
Yeah.
Sneaky Sound System was like the goats.
Yes, but
And they
it's
did
not them.
Bloghouse era. They did a bunch of remixes by everybody.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wasn't Flight Facilities, right?
It might have been Flight. No, I don't think it was Flight Facilities, was it? It might have been.
Maybe, because I don't think I've seen them live in a while. Maybe you bumped into
This
my
was
twin.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
could be.
it could have been a twin. I once heard about this. Like there was someone who was posing at me
Yeah.
as me.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and tried to drop my name somewhere to get in.
Damn. Did they get in?
I don't know. A bouncer
Maybe
told me, so
so.
probably not.
Oh, yeah. I guess not.
I've had somebody try to do that to me.
Really?
Like they're like, I'm Rich Furniss. I'm like,
You're like, what is this, a nightmare?
I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. It was at my party, and they're like, and they were like, oh, I'm Rich Furniss. And I'm like, bro, this is.
Yeah. What if his name really was Rich Furniss, but it's spelled
Yeah.
a little differently?
That would have been funny. I didn't ask for the ID. I just laughed at him.
He's
So
like,
you didn't let him in.
I didn't let him in.
You didn't even let him in for trying, because that's a good A for effort.
I think he was really, if I remember correctly, he was very embarrassed and kind of like turned away and was like, Because like everybody at the door knew clearly he wasn't Rich Furniss, or maybe he was. I don't know. I should have
That's
dug
a bold
deeper.
move.
That would have been hilarious if his name was actually Rich Furniss.
That takes a lot of guts.
Yes.
a lot of guts.
But I
to
bet you
walk
this
up to a
girl's
door
name
and
is
do
not
that.
AKKI. Anyway.
So I'd like to hear a little more about ARC Festival.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
That
amazing.
looked
The
like one of
festival-
the best lineups I've ever seen. Like,
yeah,
just facts.
they really
It
crushed it.
That
with
was
that.
very
incredible.
fun.
It's like all house and techno.
Yeah, it was all house and techno.
A lot of the originators in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a really good stage. I think it was called the 909 stage, where they had a bunch of local talent. So like I was playing, Dalton Taylor was playing, if you know
Nice.
Dalton
Yep.
Taylor,
Yeah.
yes. And then there was another stage which was like James Hype, Walker and Royce, like Sam Divine.
And you played with Walker and Royce before,
I
right?
have played with Walker and
Yeah,
Royce.
yeah,
Yeah.
Amazing.
They're great. I played with them a few years ago and a few times after that.
Like
Awesome guys.
Elsewhere?
Yeah, Elsewhere, and then at Elements a few times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then who else played at ARC? There was Eric Pritz put on the Holo show. That was my first time ever seeing the Holo show.
Oh, how was that?
It was awesome because I'd only seen
what
like
is
the
that?
Instagram.
I'm not sure.
So it's
a
been
big
kind of
visualizer
fun. Yeah.
Okay.
thing where he's kind of got the whole bodies and heads.
I have seen that.
And the astronauts where they're like,
yeah.
shooting fire.
They did that
yeah.
outside?
Yeah.
Nighttime.
It was awesome.
He gets a nighttime
It was
slot.
nighttime.
That's dope.
It was great. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it looks
awesome.
amazing.
I love the energy at any Chicago festival. I might be biased, but just like because there's so much history with house music there, I just feel like I've always had a good time in Chicago at big festivals like that.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I always like when festivals are, it's ironic because when you think of festivals, right, you think big festival. But I always like it when they're a little smaller and it doesn't take forever to walk from one stage to
For
the
sure.
other.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's just
agreed.
very easy to bounce around. And Boys Noise was playing as well. And
Oh, nice.
he's definitely one of my biggest influences.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He was great. And it was an insane weekend because I took, I was up at 3 a.m. and took like a 6 a.m. flight, landed, played ARC, stayed there for the night, flew back, and then played Electric Zoo that Sunday.
Wow.
And then played the Electric Zoo after party at Avant-Garde that Sunday night with John Summit, Dum Dalla, and Green Velvet. So
Nice.
by
That's some
Monday,
rock star shit.
Damn.
I slept for like a week.
Yeah, facts.
Incredible.
But I was like, I guess there are touring DJs that do this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Little
was
sneak
like,
peek into it.
yeah, no, it was a good taste of hopefully what's to come. But Avant-Garde was awesome that weekend too. The after party just packed and
Yeah.
everyone was just having a great time.
Nice.
So yeah.
Not to bounce around a lot here,
Bounce around,
but
let's go.
any new productions on the way we can expect to hear from you in the near
Yeah,
future?
we're shopping around a few tracks right now.
Sweet.
Maybe I'll preview a few of them during the set later.
Let's do it.
And I did put out a track earlier this year. I did Justin Jay's boot camp end of last
nice.
year,
Dope.
which was great. Yeah, it was. I went for about a month, and it was super helpful. Like it was all about just going back to basics, producing a lot of tracks, just using the 909 drum set. Kind of scaling back to less is more. He's a really good instructor too, so he put out a compilation of all of the students that did the boot camp. So that
Oh,
came out.
cool.
Yeah, and that actually did really well. It was played on BBC Radio and like Rinse FM because
Nice.
the compilation is viewed by a lot of people. And I think that really got me on a good footing for production this year. Like I think again one of the biggest lessons I learned was just the art of keeping it simple.
Yeah.
And which I've found really tricky sometimes, just having such a diverse background and so many,
too.
different tastes of music.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll throw a drum in there, and then, I'll throw like another triangle in there, and I'll throw like this instrument, that instrument, and that djembe, and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it's like a washing machine, and it's not a music anymore.
Yeah.
So it's been really good to kind of just practice scaling back and going back to basics, and that's
Amazing.
really helped me wrap up stuff now. So.
Nice. So now you're cooking with the production.
Yeah.
Lining up, pitching around some stuff, trying to get some releases out for probably, I guess, next year.
Yeah, exactly. And my goal
Awesome.
this year was, not necessarily to expect any releases, but just line up a bunch of releases, shop them around next year. I get sad sometimes when I'm playing a DJ set and I don't have enough of my own music to play. And I think that's just been my motivating factor to try to get more of my own stuff
I love
in
that.
there and
Yeah.
not be afraid to test it out.
Yeah.
Like, There are tracks sometimes.
I definitely get afraid about testing out my music sometimes.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
I do too.
You gotta
It's
like
tough,
time it
yeah.
out, you know. It's like it's got to be
Yeah.
like the right time. You're like, oh, I'm ready, they're ready.
Yeah.
It's like you know, it's like going on a first date a little bit.
Yeah.
So should I make the move?
Yeah.
Like, I'll hold it back a little bit here. I don't want to be too
Yeah.
forward.
Do they like
Right,
me?
right,
I don't
yeah.
know.
And then everyone just stops dancing.
Yeah. They just stare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
What are
had
you
that
doing?
nightmare.
They're gonna stop and say, what are you doing? The song sucks.
Yeah.
Change it back.
Can you imagine? I mean, that's my biggest fear sometimes is like someone comes up to me and goes, did you make this track? Because it's just really not good. And it's like, that's just not actually going to happen.
No.
But that's the first
You
thing
just
that goes
unlocked a
through
new
my
anxiety
mind.
for myself.
It's
I did have that happen once. It was a smaller room, and they were like, "Can you change this?" And it was like one of my songs.
Oh, no. Wow.
This was years and years ago.
They go,
but I
can you
was
play
like,
something we can dance to?
Yeah.
Play some dance music?
Those haters don't count. That's
They
probably
don't
one of those
count.
kids that just like,
No.
you know, wants to hear their bathroom music.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's like the Spotify playlist that they can only listen to. So screw those people.
Yeah, I will say it was in my infancy of like making stuff, so they might have been right on that one. It might have been okay.
They weren't ready for what Rich Furniss is about
They
to
weren't. They
become.
were not ready.
What venue was that at?
Where was it? I think that was at Counting Room.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was a fun place
Yeah.
before it shut down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there
was
every
cool.
Saturday. It was my longest residency in the city.
Oh, maybe I was there one time when you were dancing.
Yeah.
Maybe I was the person that was like, what are you doing?
It was
Shut
you.
this thing up. A friend of mine had the most amazing party there once. He threw his 30th birthday there.
Okay.
And the whole theme was like the death of my 20s. We all had to dress up like we were going to a funeral.
I love that.
And
That's
he,
dope.
and he had a coffin, right? Like there was a coffin like in the middle of the club and we had no idea it was in the coffin. And he finally opened it and it was filled with tacos.
Yes, he is a legend. He is a
I was gonna say
legend.
Shout out,
drinks,
Mike.
like ice and beer or something.
Nope, it was tacos.
Tacos.
I might
It was
steal
How long
that.
were those
coffin
tacos in the
tacos.
coffin? That's what I wanted to know.
Oh, yeah. At midnight, we didn't really care.
Yeah, facts.
Were they killer tacos?
I'm pretty sure they did taste very good, whatever I
Yeah.
could get my hands on. But
Nice.
that was good times at Counting Room.
Love.
Yeah.
The coffin was there from like 8 p.m. till 2 a.m. All right, when the clock strikes 2 a.m.,
Let's dive him in.
everybody's like, tacos.
Please.
The zombies come
Yeah.
out for the food.
Right. I mean, maybe you helped carry in the coffin.
I
Who
could have been
knows?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were there.
Yeah. Maybe it was you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where were these
Good
tacos
times.
from? Were they Taco Bell or were they like a restaurant, local restaurant?
Who even knew? There was
All right,
it,
I just
it
had
was
to ask.
Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You throw a
That's true.
stone, you probably hit a taco there.
Facts.
It's just
That is true.
so many. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, very excited to see what you have coming up in the near future with your
Thank
music and your
you.
DJ sets. You've been
Thank
really
you.
crushing it.
Thank you.
So
I
it's been exciting to
appreciate
see
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
Yes. Instagram, AKKI Music. And yeah, I mean, that's like pretty much what I'm on these days. I'm working on my YouTube channel. You know, stay
Okay,
tuned.
nice.
Maybe that will come out. But yeah,
AKKI.
AKKI Music.
Yes.
Very, very easy.
Just to make sure you get that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, you go there, you'll see all my other links, like my SoundCloud, my Spotify.
Perfect.
Speaking of links, make sure you check the link below to check out her set that she's about to lay down for us right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
been
Yeah.
wonderful chatting. We really
Yes.
appreciate you. Thank you to AKKI for joining us here on Groove City.
I'm Rich Furniss.
And I'm Lefty. Peace out.